We're back here on the program, the platform, and today we are simply talking about BAMSI with Godfrey Eneas. You are still with BAMSI. What is your status now?
Well, let me put it this way. I think you alluded to it earlier in the program. I was politically appointed. I know that. Mr. Christie appointed me. All right? I took the view that the PLP had lost. All right? And the new government may not want me. So I wrote the minister. I explained my situation to him. And I told him that I am prepared to assist wherever I can, but I give him the option to say, they don't need me. Right? And so I felt that was the proper course for a political appointee. That's how it's done everywhere else. Now, if they want to bring me back, that's a different story. Because this, for example, this is a document here called Angry Vision. This reflects an import substitution policy, right? Which is to drive agriculture over the next 5 years. I don't know whether they agree with this or not. But I know that this is the right course for the country. All right? But I've had no discussions on this. I don't know what the government's policy is for agriculture, right? See, I'm a policy fellow. Policy is the linchpin to development. Without policy, you can't have direction. So policy is critical to my thinking, all right? There may be a policy position to which I disagree. I don't know.
Do you know what is the new government's policy with respect to BAMSI?
No, I do not know. I've not met with the minister, right? He not answered my letter. So I don't know.
But shouldn't the vision of BAMSI, the objective of BAMSI remain the same?
I would hope so. I would hope so. I would hope so. But I can't make a definitive statement because I don't know. You know, I can't make a definitive statement. I would hope so. You know, it seems based on public utterances, based on a newspaper article, that this government intends to follow. That's the appearance, but I don't know the minute details. I don't know.
But you have not been debriefed.
No. I've not been debriefed. But in conjunction with my position as president, right? I performed 3 other positions, you know. I was an ambassador to the Food and Agriculture Organization. And I have done an in-depth report on my time as ambassador, which I have sent to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I also, in my capacity as president, I took it upon myself to lecture. Every Wednesday, I went to North Andrews to lecture my students, right? Because I felt I had a responsibility to explain to them what agriculture is, particularly this new agriculture. And we had a saying, BAMSI was the face of new agriculture in the Bahamas.
There is a misconception, Godfrey Eneas, that BAMSI is the entity to feed the entire Bahamas, to produce products for the entire country.
No.
And I want you to explain and to disabuse people of that.
We have what we call a research and demonstration farm. All right? From that research and demonstration farm, we would, for example, disperse throughout the country new varieties, new technologies. We have close to I think 1,000 sheep and goats. We have upgraded the bloodline of our small ruminants. We distribute them. It's the farmers in what we call our Associated Farmers Program that will feed the Bahamas. And this Associated Farmers Program is a network. There will be Associated Farmers programs in every island, every farming community, and it is those entities that will feed the country. All we would do at Andros is do the research, how to solve the problems, and all of the research can't be done in Andros because we have different climatic conditions in terms of rainfall levels. We have climate change is real. We've experienced it for the last 3 growing seasons. And so we can't just concentrate on doing research in Andros. You got to do research in Eleuthera, in Long Island, throughout the southeastern Bahamas, because you have different climatic conditions. So that is critical. We have now interrelated our program with CADI, the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, the premier research, because we lack in the Bahamas research capacity. So we have CADI, the Bahamas is a member CADI, and they are guiding, providing the capacity for research. And CADI has already identified 4 or 5 areas of research, fundamental research. You have fundamental and you have applied research. We've been going by applied research, something that happens someplace else, and you try to deal with the variables to make it happen here. We are generating our own research, Mr. Jones.
Tell me, in terms of the number of people who have expressed interest in BAMSI, I attended one of the graduation or the first graduation exercise of BAMSI. We know that the number of farmers declined in the Bahamas over the years. Have you seen a new interest in Bahamians wishing to go into farming as a result of BAMSI?
Mr. Jones, come September, Dr. Hanna, the executive director, has had over 400 applicants. Over 400 applicants. And there's an anticipation that at a minimum we get 50% of them. At a minimum, 400 applicants, people who applied to the Institute. And that has created a serious problem. It's created a problem with accommodations. And so steps have been taken. I don't know if you remember along the highway in North Andros, some blue buildings, right? The Ministry of Finance has made arrangements for us to take over the new buildings and reconfigure them for dormitories because of the number of applicants. 400 applicants. So when I hear some of the naysaying, right? And what has happened is, this is where we've run into some difficulties with the University of Bahamas, right? Dr. Hanna developed a program in agribusiness. Agribusiness development, what we call agripreneurs, right? People who just don't come to BAMSI looking for a job. People who come to BAMSI looking to go into agribusiness. Farming is just one aspect of agribusiness. We are going to go into what we call value added. If you go to our distribution center, you see a whole section of jams, jellies, juices. And the way Mr. Mins is categorizing them is based on island. You can go there and get Long Island guava jam, right? Or Eleuthera pineapple jam. Because at the cottage industry level, these people are producing, and we're providing the infrastructure, what we call community kitchens. That's a big part of this. The value added, that's where the money is. What our agriculture has been based on is the lowest remunerative area. That's the fresh product area where you sell the tomatoes and bananas. That's the lowest value, right? We want tomato puree, tomato paste. That's the value added, the change in form. That's where the farmer makes the money.
And in addition to having these people who are involved and who want to get into various entrepreneurial pursuits,
Yes.
You have invited existing farmers from around the Bahamas to come to BAMSI for tips, I suppose.
That is, see what we've done. That is where the training comes in. That's where the training component comes in. All right? Several weeks ago, we brought from University of the West Indies, the premier scientist at UWI on how to prevent losses. We lose a lot of food carelessly, all right? And he did a course which the academic arm certified, meaning that we invited people from the hotels, from the supermarkets, right? They can come and for a week or 2 weeks, attend the course, get certified in how to prevent food losses. That's the training component of it, right? See, training always means getting an associate degree. Training means enable a fellow, right, to say, I've been through a course for 2 weeks, 3 months, whatever it is, and I have a certificate which says, Mr. Jones, that I have the competency to earn $400 a week, right? And one of our fellows came to me and said, Ms. Eneas, this is the first time in my life I've ever had a certificate. That's how you change lives.
What have other people in other areas of the industry, both here and abroad, what have they said about BAMSI? Because I know that you've had visitors from various organizations in the Caribbean.
BAMSI is unique. Unique. There's no other institution in the Caribbean like it. None. Not even in big countries like Cuba, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. BAMSI is the only one of its kind. You know why? Because we have that marine component. We have a marine farm. And the region sees us as being the center for training. You got agricultural extension officers. We are going to be training fisheries extension officers. We have this 100,000 square miles of ocean. We have a $100 million crawfish industry, all right? We have an industry that has to meet certain global standards and be able to export, right? We have a program, we're developing a program where we're going to be able to improve the competitiveness and efficiency of the fishermen. That's what the Marine Department will do under Dr. Delaveau, all right? So that is where we're taking it. We are already a regional institution, regional. And so when I hear people talk, right, see, I go throughout the region. I go throughout the region as an ambassador, right? And I interrelate with these people. BAMSI is not only known in the region, BAMSI is known globally because the Director General of FAO has been here, right? Mm-hmm. So this is not no rinky-dink operation.
You said that BAMSI is felt in North Andros. You see the economy of North Andros moving. How long do you think it would take for an impact of BAMSI to be felt nationwide?
That's what this is about. That's what this is about. Let me tell you how we're going to do that. We've identified 32 crops in this document here. 32 crops, which we know we can become self-sufficient in. No question about it. Because when you look at the crops and you look at what the acreage is required for production, we can achieve that. The problem we've had, Mr. Jones, is that everything we go either plenty or gluts. Our challenge is to stretch out the growing season And the way you stretch out the growing season is through new varieties. That's why varietal trials are so important, all right? And because of climatic conditions, you take, for example, the pigeon pea, all right? There are varieties that are drought resistant, which make the pigeon pea ideal for the southeastern Bahamas. And it's ideal because it is a non-perishable commodity, right? We grow tomatoes one time of the year. There are varieties that you can grow throughout the year. That is how you change your agriculture. You get the different varieties of perennials like mangoes, avocados, right? We're trying to stretch out the growing season. That is why we have the research and demonstration farm. It's all interrelated.
Yeah, but the Bahamas has had a food bill of, say,
$1 billion plus
a year.
Yeah.
And you want substitution, import substitution.
Let me tell you another thing, right?
How are you going to achieve import substitution?
We're going to achieve import substitution, like I said. We know the acreage is required. We're going to expand the growing season with new varieties. And we're going to do that nationally through our Associated Farmers Program. Because, for example, you take bananas. We have a program now to expand bananas throughout the country. Because come January, February, banana production in Andros is almost non-existent because it's too cold. We're growing bananas at the highest latitude in the world. It's too cold. Bananas need 80 degrees kind of temperature. So that would suit Long Island and Eleuthera during the winter months. Come the summer, the bulk of the production will come from Andros. That is how you reorient your production system. You see? And you take, for example, in North Andros, 2 years ago, we had over 2 million pounds of of onions. But come January and February, you had unseasonable rains. All of the onion seedlings got flooded out. And so what happened? The country is without onions. So we have to find varieties that we can produce in the southeastern Bahamas.
Okay, let's take this break here on our program. This is The Platform. Godfrey Eneas is explaining BAMSI. We'll come right back.